This is the nest where Richard Harger Sr. was caught on camera grabbing those two baby swans. He says he never meant them any harm. The plaque on the steps that are some of the only structures that are standing still on the site says Calvary Baptist Church built in 1915. Well, it stood until 2021. And this is what we've got left, just a large pile of debris that investigators are still going to sift through in order to find out exactly how this fire started. They're telling me this is still an open investigation. Yes, that's right. And we're only just getting information about all this, Andrea. You can see we're at the scene here in Cape Canaveral. You can see the evidence markers on the ground over there, and more to the point is off to the side here you can see the bulk of the evidence, including evidence marker number 22 there against the wall that appears to be a pistol. There's debris all over the area from the roof of the church mainly. This is a piece of shingle that I picked up about 20 yards from here. Just shows the extent of the damage, and you can see the damage that it caused on the building. You can see that part of the roof has been sheared away. There's tarps on it now to protect it from any kind of further exposure to the elements. That's where there's a memorial set up to the young victims. You can see it down there at the bottom of this light post. This is the second fatal crash here since January, and FHP says they're going to consider ways and options to keep this from happening again. Cruella is actually not the first movie that Parker's been in. He also had a small role in Disney's live-action version of Lady and the Tramp. This is Grand Theft Auto 5. You can see it's from a first-person perspective right now. We've got a city. My hand is holding an assault rifle. I can even aim it like that. And this is the game, or the kind of game, that the teens were referencing during that Volusia County shooting, and it does bring up the old question of whether violent video games can lead to real-world violence. Now, we understand there's a person of interest in this case, and there may be an arrest coming soon. Now, let me set the scene for you here. We're in the parking lot where this all went down. We understand that that F-150 was doing donuts in the parking lot here, and then it smashed into a railing that used to be right here, ripping up the pavement right over there. Here's a chunk of it that I'm holding right now, and after that, it crashed into Katrina Redden, and that was down the street there near that telephone pole. Well, Andrea, we've got a sheriff's office helicopter right over there, hovering above the lake that's behind the property here, continuing the search for this missing paddleboarder. That it all started at around 2:30 this morning, we're told. They say a 39-year-old man went out paddleboarding on Lake Barton with friends just after midnight. Starting October 15th, you may be able to use an app to bet on your favorite sports teams. Now take a look at this map. This shows in red all the states where sports betting is legal in the U.S., and soon Florida is going to be added to that list. Jay Villamil is in good spirits and doing well, but it was a scary time when a shark here in New Smyrna Beach took a big bite out of his leg. The cast protecting Jay Villamil's leg covers where a shark tore a big chunk from his calf.
I caught this wave and I was standing in the turf area, which is like waist deep water. And I just felt like a big spin and jab hit me in the leg.
The 12-year-old from Cocoa Beach says he tried to fight back.
And it got me twice in two areas in the leg. But then I took my left leg I took my left leg and kicked it in the gills.
But the damage was done. He says a surf instructor he was with acted quickly to help. Paramedics took Jay to Halifax Hospital and later airlifted him to Arnold Palmer.
The first hospital was my first surgery when they wrapped my leg and stuff to stop the bleeding. And then I had my second surgery yesterday when they reconnected my right leg Achilles and reconnected some of the tendons in my muscle.
The avid surfer is set for another procedure tomorrow to help repair damaged nerves. It's been a harrowing experience for the boy, who says after all that, he's looking forward to getting back in the waves.
I was like at the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah, it could have happened to anybody. It was just, I'm not really scared. It's just unfortunate, you know?
There's a GoFundMe set up to help pay for his medical expenses. You can find a link to that on our website, fox35orlando.com. In New Smyrna Beach, Matt Rezza, Fox 35 News. Yeah, he is injured, but you can't keep Mike Chitwood down. He was in the office today. When I talked with him, he was sitting at his desk doing some paperwork. He says he is pretty banged up, but he just had to get back to the job. Here's the view from the dash cam of a waste truck driving behind the car that hit the sheriff. You can hear the driver's reaction when he sees the accident. He pulled over to help. The driver just kept on going. Port Orange police say that driver is 20-year-old Paige Bergman, who deputies tracked down later that evening.
Come on out here. Come to the back of the car, please. Put your hands on the back of the car. You too. Come here. You're not free to leave. Yeah. Who else is in the car? Put your hands on the car. Okay. What's your name?
In the video, you can hear Bergman say she thought she hit a mailbox.
She did not hit a mailbox. Do you want to know what she hit? Mike Chitwood, the sheriff.
Bergman was apologetic when we stopped by her house after she bonded out of jail. Anything that you'd like to say? Anything Paige would like to say?
It was an accident.
I mean, so why didn't she stay? Why didn't she stay afterward? Back on the job with a broken bone in his leg, Sheriff Chitwood says he's grateful to be alive.
Got about 10 stitches in my lower back, covered in road rash, and got a wicked headache. And just thankful that, I was able to get up this morning and shower and said, I'm not sitting around here. I got to get moving. There's things that got to be done.
Now, this is the second time that Sheriff Chitwood has been involved in an accident while he's been on his bike, and he says that Bergman made things so much tougher on herself by fleeing the scene. More on that coming up at 6. We're live in DeLand. Matt Trezza, Fox 35 News. Since the riots in the U.S. Capitol, thousands of local Republicans have switched parties. We asked one of them, why? Neff Martinez has been a registered Republican since 1983. He says he was never a huge supporter of President Trump, but the violence in the Capitol on January 6th was the last straw.
Then with this, I just didn't want to be identified as a Republican anymore. That was too far to one side. And I decided it's just better be an independent and vote where I will.
He says he watched with horror as the rioters ran through the halls of Congress.
Really nothing to think about. I have nothing to do with that. I don't want anything to even be close to that disorder and that chaos. And I didn't know where it was going to end. But I said, it's not my party. I don't recognize them.
The numbers show that other Republicans from across Central Florida feel the same. We obtained the figures from Orange, Brevard, Volusia, Lake, Marion, Sumter, Osceola, Flagler, and Alachua counties. In all, Republicans lost triple-digit registrations in each county from January 6th to January 19th, totaling 3,801 across them all. By comparison, Democrats had mostly double-digit registration losses in each county for that same period, totaling 646 altogether. We asked prominent local Democrats and Republicans to sound off.
Every day, Floridians and Americans, they do feel disconnected from these political labels. And I think it's a part of a larger conversation of the two-party system as a whole.
People have strong opinions on all sides, on all issues in this. So my thing is I don't argue with voters. I try to encourage voters to vote.
Martinez says he's rarely flown his American flag since Trump took office. He says maybe now is the right time to put it back out.
I just didn't want to identify whether they seem to have stolen the flag like it's theirs. And it's not theirs. The flag belongs to all of us.
Elections officials say anyone who intends to vote in a primary needs to register with that political party 30 days before the primary in order to take part. In Orange County, Matt Trezza, Fox 35 News. When you watch Disney's movie Cruella this summer, you'll catch one of Central Florida's brightest stars in action. He's got a winning personality, a snazzy coat, a terrific smile, and big floppy ears. He's a Dalmatian named Parker, and he plays a key role in the blockbuster film.
And so they loved him. They loved his look. They cast-typed him right away. They said, we love him, and we want him for the movie.
Life might have gone very differently for the 4-year-old canine, though. His owner and trainer, Jennifer Moore, took him in as a rescue dog from a Missouri family that got him from a breeder.
I drove up there and I got to meet him. And as soon as I met him, I was like, he's the one. He's the one. I want to take him home and just love on him and train him and work with him. And there he is.
The company Moore works for runs animal shows at Universal Orlando, and their highly trained animals are often scouted by production companies for roles in movies, TV shows, and commercials. Cruella is actually not the first movie that Parker's been in. He also had a small role in Disney's live-action version of Lady and the Tramp. In Cruella, he's one of 3 Dalmatians owned by Emma Thompson's character, the Baroness von Hellman.
A lot of the scenes that she was in, they were into either just kind of hanging out by her side. She was walking them through a lot of the parties.
Moore's had Parker for 3 years and says it's been incredible seeing him blossom.
From when I picked him up, from this timid, shy, kind of nervous about everything dog to this dog that came out of his shell, was able to go on a major production and do really well. Everyone loved him. Of course, I'm proud of him. Yeah.
She says anyone looking to adopt should always give a rescue dog a chance.
You can help these guys and go rescue a dog that really just needs to be rescued. They can turn into a really good dog.
In Orlando, Matt Trezza, Fox 35 News.